Continuing on, let's talk about it. Complex released their hip hop media power rankings, right? This is their list of who they think is killing it in the hip hop media world, which I fall into. And, they did a top 25 list, and let's just go over it. Let's see, where's people's rankings, why are people on the list, so on and so forth. So they got number 25, Gabe P, who had no idea who he is, but apparently he's the owner of On the Radar. So that, that green freestyling booth area where Central C and Drake did their freestyle and stuff like that. That I understand. So he's on there. He's got some great freestyles, memorable moments. Cool, right? Number 25, no issue with that. Arshwan Jaweed is at number 24. And he has a platform called The Kids Takeover. He did a Cole Bennett interview. They pretty much talk about the most memorable moments, their followers, stuff like that. He did a Cole Bennett interview, did a Laser Dim 700 interview, did a Bryson Tiller interview. He's also interviewed NLE Choppa, Ken Carson, so on and so forth. I had no idea who this guy is. The only reason I think they put him on this list is because he actually worked for Complex. He did the Complexicon and he did interviews for Complex, stuff like that. So they're just giving him a look because he did that, to be honest with you. This guy did not, there's nothing in hip hop culture that this guy had. I'm not disrespecting, I'm just saying, like, he didn't have to be in a top 25 list. Nah, I disagree with that, but whatever. That's number 24. This, I had no idea, like, what the fuck, why is he on this list? This guy I would never consider hip hop, but hey, whatever. Number 23 is Jason Lee. This guy, he runs Hollywood Unlocked. He's a more gossipy, like, pop type of, like, that's how I view him. I don't view him as hip hop. They said he's got 3.6 million followers on IG. Cool. He's got 540,000 on YouTube. Cool. Right? He did an interview with DDG and Joyner Lucas. Cool. Hip-hop people, but nah, man. They said he became a go-to source for his audience on things Kendrick and Drake. I disagree with that. Yeah, this guy definitely did not deserve to be number 23. And last year, I didn't even know they had a ranking, like a list of this last year. He was number 11 last year, which is wild. This guy is nothing hip-hop. Like, when I think of hip-hop media, I do not think of Jason Lee. That's the last person I think of. Number 22, Adam 22. Funny ranking because he's Adam 22. He did the Kodak Black interview, Fulio interview. He's done a lot of hip-hop, so I can understand it. However, I don't think this is no disrespect to No Jumper, Adam 22, or anything like that, but I just, in my mind, when I think of hip-hop, I don't really go to No Jumper. Because they have their known, like, niche of hip-hop content. But I think a lot of the sexual stuff that he does has overshadowed a lot of No Jumper. The plug talk, that shit that he does with his wife, whatever, all that sexual stuff. That has kind of overshadowed it. Not saying that he doesn't still cover dope hip-hop moments. I mean, he just did one with Kodak Black. That's a funny moment. He has his moments where he covers interesting things. But, I mean, ranking's not bad, man. 22 is a good ranking. That's where I would put him in terms of the hip-hop world, because I just don't view him solely as hip-hop because of all the other stuff he does. But he does great hip-hop content when he, does do it. Number 21, Van Lathan. He's got most memorable moments is the breakdown of the Kendrick beef on Higher Learning. Interesting. He's got great, what I like about him is he has that show that he did with 50. That was cool, like Hip Hop Homicides, or I think it was called. That I could see why he would be in there, because it's a good show. But anything else, level-headed commentary. He's got the Higher Learning podcast. Let's see what this is about. Higher Learning podcast. Let's search the numbers on this. I'm just curious. I've never listened to this podcast or anything like that. So it's not really covering just hip hop. Like, they're covering politics. They're covering. That's what I'm saying. Like, a true hip hop is like just hip hop, bro, for the most part. Like, I'm not saying 100% of your content has to be hip hop to be on this list. That's how, at least if I were to do a hip hop media list, it would be like 80 to 90% of your content has to be hip hop related. It can't be like 40% hip hop, 30% pop, 20% politics, whatever. Like, it's got to be hip hop. So cool, his ranking. I guess I understand it, but yeah. Number 20, Trap Laura Ross. He had the insane year with that King Von rap's first serial killer documentary. That because people were like, is he a serial killer? Is he not? Very, deserving of the ranking. I think he put in the work for it, and this is somebody that I consider actually hip hop, doing hip hop content. Um, but yeah, great ranking. I think I agree with that. Maybe I would have put him maybe a little bit higher too, because to be honest with you, when I go these next rankings, I'm like, they didn't move weight like Traplo Ross did. I think he should have been a little bit higher, but that's just the world of complex and what they think is popping. Nadeska, that's what I mean. Nadeska, Alexis, no disrespect to her, but I don't really anything hip hop. Like, she was an everyday struggle, which made her really relevant to me. And then she does like Apple Music's Rap Life Review. Doesn't have a big following and big audience. She's got 98,000 followers on IG, 63,000 on X. Did the Four Bats and Schoolboy Q interview. Those are the two biggest moments she had. You got to think, though, a lot of these people relied on other superstars, like doing interviews of other superstars to become something. Like Traplo Ross just did his own shit with the documentaries. That's way more respectable. It's harder to do. That's what I'm saying. Traplo Ross should have been a little bit higher on this versus other people who rely on other celebrities. They have to do interviews with celebrities to be in this ranking. Traplo Ross didn't have to do that, but hey, Nadeska's ahead of Traplo Ross for whatever reason. Sway Calloway, he's number 18. He did the Will Smith and Martin Lawrence interviews. Cool. The Mexican OT interview and freestyle. Cool. Yeah, but doing Will Smith and Martin Lawrence isn't hip hop. You get credit for doing that interview. Cool. That's a great interview, but that's not hip hop. Will Smith hasn't rapped in God knows how long, and Martin Lawrence has never been a rapper. So I don't understand this ranking on here. Number 18. There's so many more hip hop content creators in the media world that are way like just killing it. What's the Dirt is another one that they could have put on here. He's just doing his fucking thing. Me with my Get Rich or Die Trying documentary. I'm just saying me because you could say I'm biased, but I've put in a lot of work, done a lot of views and shit. And I have a great following and audience and all that stuff. I never, got put on the list. But yeah, Sway, sorry, man. Much respect to Sway, but I don't know. His ranking makes sense, but he doesn't really. Angela Yee, it's like, dog. Like, no disrespect, but I don't know. She did the Offset interview, Cardi B interview. Okay, that's fair. I think she was more relevant when she was on The Breakfast Club, but cool. She does Angela Yee's lip service, way up with Angela Yee. She's got 893,000 followers on X, 1.7 million on IG. Cool. Yeah, that's fair, I guess. 17, if that's when you do. Big Boy, I feel Big Boy's done a lot of great interviews. Shout out to him. I think 16 is a little too low. He needs to be higher up on the list, but they ranked him at number 16. He's done a lot of great interviews for the past year, so shout out to him. And he's done like full-length documentaries that are really cool, so he deserves to be higher on the list. Angie Martinez, she did Doja Cat interview, Jeezy interview, Glorilla interview. That have been very memorable. Cool, but I find no interest in her. Just watching her content. No disrespect to her, but she hasn't really done anything like that stood out. That's really caught people's attention in her interviews, at least in the past year, from what I can remember. Like she had like this one. The way I'm judging this is just from my point of view, right? Like I watch hip hop content, but even the content that I don't watch, if they're really popping, you'll see clips of them interviewing the person or whatever the case may be, right? Bootleg Kev, he's grown his platform a lot. He did an NBA Youngboy interview, which he was out in wherever the hell NBA Youngboy was at the time. So shout out to him. Did that great interview. Mexican OT, ESTG, where he walked out. He had that moment. So cool, cool ranking. Rory and Maul, number 13. Their moment was obviously Drake and Kendrick. So that really brought them because they called out the Drake push-ups track before everybody else. Because they said drop and give me 50, and then I remember using that as like an example on Twitter because remember push-ups leaked, people thought it was AI, said it's not AI, it's actually Drake, and then you saw clips of Rory and Maul talking about drop and give me 50, so on and so forth. So they were like part of the Drake and Kendrick beef a lot. Like they were pushing narratives and doing their thing. Lil Yachty and Meech, fuck no, but I guess since it's a fucking famous person, Lil Yachty, I really don't think Yachty is really. Never mind. He's had clips where that went pretty viral and good. So, yeah, but I wouldn't consider him like. It's unfair to put like celebrities podcast next to like hip hop media that aren't celebrities, that can't rely on their celebrity. Like that's an unfair comparison in my eyes. But they put Lil Yachty and Mitch on there. Cool. Nori with Drink Champs should have been higher, number 11. He's had a lot of memorable moments the past year. They had the Benzino interview and the Ludacris interview. Those are the two biggest ones. Benzino crying on, obviously, Drink Champs, but they did the thing on there. Nardwuar, number 10. He had the Tyler, the Creator interview. Ice Spice, cool. I can understand that as well. Number 10 is a great ranking for Nardwuar. Gilly and Wallow, $1 million worth of game. They got number 9 ranking. NBA Youngboy, Cardi B interview. I guess those are their most memorable moments. Anthony Fantano. The reason why I disagree with this, of him being on the hip-hop media rankings, is because he doesn't just cover hip-hop. Like, he covers all kinds of fucking music. That's what I mean. Like, you have to, I think, to be on a hip-hop, that's what it says, hip-hop media ranking, you got to majority cover hip-hop. That should be the rule. Because at this point, you can just fucking jump and become pop famous and do whatever the fuck you want and then cover 20% of hip-hop and say you're hip-hop. Nah. That's why I feel about Anthony. Yeah, he's covered a lot of hip-hop. He does cover a lot of hip-hop, but he's so out there with different content when it comes to music. Like, he'll cover rock, every like different type of genre that, I don't know, put him on a hip-hop media list could have been different. But Ebro, number 7. Ebro in the Morning, the Ebro Show and Rap Life Review. Cool, I guess. He sparked the Drake has in the regional sound debate. He did the Gunna interview. Cool. Vlad, he should have been higher because he had the whole Keefe D getting locked up, and basically he got a lot of credit for solving the Tupac murder case. When he really didn't solve it, he just kind of put pieces together, but which is kind of technically solving. But he, Keefe D was the one that kind of already admitted in his book, and then Vlad just got him to admit it on camera even more during an interview. So I don't know if he like 100% solved it, but he does get a lot of credit for that. So, and then obviously Vlad's had a lot of viral moments, man. He always has moments that just, they'll hit. I always see a Vlad interview there and there. So I think he should have been higher on the list. Number 6 is just, he should at least be in the top 5. Elliot Wilson, number 5, respect to him. Rob Radar podcast. Elliot sparking debates about journalists versus streamers. Elliot's up and down relationship with Drake. Rap Radar Tyler, the Creator interview. Yeah, he's had his moments, especially in the Drake versus Kendrick thing. Number 4, Charlamagne the God. I don't remember shit Charlamagne has done in a minute, but hey, he was sampled by Future Metro Boomin's intro track. And then Charlamagne breaking down beef, I guess. That's gave him. I don't think Charlamagne should be this high on the list. I think Vlad should replace Charlamagne, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. And this is another thing I have a problem with. Kai Cenat being number 3. Why the fuck is he in the hip-hop? Like, no disrespect, but he doesn't really cover hip-hop like that. Like, that's what I'm saying. There needs to be a respect level where, like, people that cover it every day, that make documentaries every day, that literally live and breathe hip-hop are missing on this list, or not on this list. That's not fair. Some of these people just barely cover hip-hop, and they're on this list. Makes no damn sense, but that's complex, I guess. That's their opinion on it. They said he did an interview with Nicki Minaj, reviewing diss songs from Kendrick and Drake. That puts him on the list. And then beefing with Kanye, that's what puts him on the hip-hop media list. Come on, man. Media, like, he needs to be reporting on shit, getting news, and doing things that other people aren't doing. That's the media list. But, hey, Joe Budden, number 2, I agree with this. Joe Budden podcast obviously was the place to go after a lot of people wanted to hear his thoughts on Drake and Kendrick beefing. He interviewed Larry Jackson as well, which is a huge record label person. And, Joe Budden's podcast does cover a lot of different things as well, so you can kind of throw that at Joe as well. But when it comes to hip-hop, he has a different perspective because he used to be an artist. So, like, when it comes to battles, he has a different perspective of how to break down these things because he's been in battles and he's an artist. He used to be an artist. So I agree with that, number 2. And then Academics at number 1, I agree with that as well. He definitely deserves number 1. He was the one that was, like, breaking moments in the Drake versus Kendrick beef. Artists were giving him songs, Drake gave him push-ups, and then Rick Ross gave him champagne moments. Just off that alone, and he covers hip-hop a lot of the time, man. Becoming a meme, I guess. He became a meme. I don't know what the fuck that is. When did he become a meme?
Are y'all trolling?
Not like us. They not like us. So, yeah, he got mentioned in one of the Kendrick songs. So he had a hell of a year. Like this was definitely, if you had to rank from summer last year to summer this year, it was definitely academics. He did his thing. But a lot of these people on this list barely cover hip hop, or if they do, they got to rely on like other sources to help them. Like number 24, Arshwan Jawad, nah, sorry man. Jason Lee, hell no. Van Lathan, I guess, but Nadeska being that high, no, she deserves to be on the list, but that high, no. Sway as well, not that high. Angeli, not that high. Yeah, I just don't agree with some of these lists. Yeah, it is what it is, though. That's their opinion. That's their thing. Personally, me, I know some people are tagging me and saying, why weren't you on the list? Me, it'd be cool to be on the list, but I know that a lot of this stuff has to do with relationships. It has to do a lot of, if you're in the hip hop media relationship world, I don't give two fucks to be in that. I know the talent I bring. I know the consistency I bring. I know that what I've done is innovated a lot of things and pushed hip hop media forward. And a lot of people aren't seeing that right now. But they'll see years down the line. What they'll do is go down in history and then see, oh, this is the person. Because I'm the one that started the long format documentaries in hip hop on YouTube. Now, was there old long format documentaries in hip hop culture? Yes, of course. On DVDs and old platforms and styles, right? Smack DVDs and shit like that. I said, that's old school. We're in wherever I started doing it, 2017. Why isn't there long formats of breaking down beefs? Why isn't there long formats of people's history? What happened to them? Why isn't there long formats of this and that on YouTube? On YouTube specifically. I don't want to say I was the first one to make long format hip hop content. Never. But on YouTube, I was. You can go check the history. So that's because I remember when I was doing it, here's the proof too. I used to split these documentaries because I didn't know if people wanted to watch an hour-long piece of content. That's why when you look at the game thing, I put part 1 out, 20 minutes, and then I got a bunch of backlash for putting that out for such a small, short video of 20 minutes that I just put all part 2 into 1 hour. When really I was planning to put it into 5 parts. But because I got so much backlash, people were saying, no, I love watching your content. I don't mind watching an hour, 2 hours. That I was like, fuck it, I'm going to put it up. But I remember when I put up 50 versus Rick Ross, that was the first 46 minutes, by the way. I could have made that way longer because there was so much more that I could have deep dive into, which I will do a remastered version down the line. But I could have deep dived into that a lot more and made it a 2-hour, 3-hour documentary. But I didn't know if people wanted to consume that amount of content. But now it's like, if you don't do that, people aren't really saying it's long form, which is crazy. So I'm the one that started that. Other people got inspired, whether they admit it or not. I don't really give a fuck because I know, check the history. And I'm the one that started that innovation of it, pushing that forward. And now I want to get into the hip hop and cryptocurrency and mix that because let's just be honest here. Cryptocurrency is the future of the world, whether you view it as a scam because you don't understand it or you view it as you just don't understand blockchains and all this. And I don't understand all of it too. But I want to bridge that gap because Waka Flocka's gotten into it. Lil Pump's got into it, and they're actually taking it serious. They're not just doing it for quick money. Like, they're actually putting everyday work in on it. So hip-hop is slowly going to adapt to it. But I want to be in the forefront of that. And, as I start doing content, if it starts to go viral and do well, you're going to see copycats. That's just the nature of it. And then people are going to brush it off and say, oh, Quake never did it first. And just like how they're doing this long-format content, people are claiming that they're the ones that did it or they're the ones that they're the best at it, blah, 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 whatever. That's a whole opinion thing. But I'm the one that started that. That's just the reality of it, whether people want to admit it or not. I don't really care, but that's just my contribution. And I've contributed a lot more. I'm doing Netflix style with the Give It Your Die Trying documentary. There's nobody. We're talking people that have a budget of, Adam 22 has millions of dollars. Vlad has millions of dollars. Academics, millions of dollars. A lot of these people on this list have millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars they can put towards making Netflix-style documentary if they wanted to on their own platforms. But they don't do it. And that's another thing that I'm pushing, that as I get more money, if I can fund it more, I'll push and do those type of things. Because who the fuck has given anybody a style the way I did with Give It Your Die Trying on YouTube for 2 hours long? There's not a single person you can point to. And hip-hop, I'm saying. Obviously other people on YouTube, they've done that type of stuff. Some people have done insane documentaries. But Like I'm talking in hip hop, nah, man. Nobody's moved the needle forward like that in the hip hop space in hip hop content YouTube. Not even just YouTube. Like my content goes obviously everywhere, Snapchat, Instagram, all that stuff. But the YouTube world is where I'm pushing things forward like nobody else is doing. Now, granted, I don't make controversial content. I'm not sitting here and trying to get controversial clicks. That's probably why I'm not on this list because I'm not trying to get controversial shit. I'm just creating what I want to see, what I like, and hopefully other people like to see it and want to watch it. Because listen, if I could have easily done controversial shit every time and just done that type of content and got millions and millions of views. Look at that. I dropped a G-Unit chain video, 3.2 million views, like it was nothing. Because controversy sells. Just people love to see that. But that's not my lane. I mean, I'll do it. Like I'm doing Diddy, $1 million hit. That's a controversial thing that people want to hear about, right? I'll tap into it, but I don't want to be known as somebody that just does, like murder documentaries and just this type of shit like over and over again. I want to be able to people to say, hey, yeah, diverse mentality. Yeah, he does. Oh, he's got like hip hop and finance. He's got hip hop on what happened to certain artists. He's got beef stories. He's got breakdown of albums of how they're created. He's got this and that. Like I want people to go in there and know that I'm diverse. No pun intended, but there you go. So I don't care whether they put me on the list or not, whether people recognize what I'm doing or not. Eventually, people are going to recognize. Usually, the innovators don't get the proper. Like you don't remember who the fuck made the phone, right? A wireless phone. But you're going to remember who made the iPhone with Steve Jobs because they innovated it. I'm the one that started the long form content. I've been pushing it to the best that I can with the funding that I have. And, whether people recognize it or not, or want to give me props or not, or any of that, it's up to them. I've never gotten, like in these interviews, I don't really get shout outs. I've never heard, Joe Budden be like, man, I saw this and it was fucking cool. Shout out to the, I see other YouTubers get that like crazy. I don't know if it's like a cult of a hip hop media cult that you have to be in. Maybe you gotta have Diddy stick a dildo on your ass. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there just for jokes. I'm not being serious, but I don't know. I just don't get that type of props now. But do I want it? Yeah, I would love for somebody to be like, "Yo, shout out to Quake, man. Diverse mentality. He pushed this." But I mean, I don't get it for whatever reason. I don't really care at this point. It used to bother me like early on, probably in like 2018, 19. I'll put out this content, do all these insane views, and people just wouldn't like. And there was like Irv Gotti watching my shit. Like he watched the 50 versus Ja, and like they wouldn't say shit. They're like you'd see this type of stuff, and just people just wouldn't say give me props on things. But it is what it is, man. Fuck it. That's my little rant. Hip hop media power rankings. That's Complex's list. Pretty cool, man. Probably about like 70% of it I agree, but a lot of these people don't. Like I said, Trap Lil Ross should have been a little bit higher. I think he doesn't have to rely. Like same with me, I don't have to rely on like celebrities to come to do viral content. A lot of these people have to do that. Like a lot of these people interviewed other celebrities and had to rely on that. And some of these people don't even do hip hop content like that. So yeah, that's my take on it. But